Since 2008, the price of healthcare has risen faster than inflation and the price of common services. Each year, more and more hospitals are built by private companies that value their money over the well-being of the patient. And if no one intervenes, then in the coming years, more and more people will struggle to afford medical procedures that they require. Hi, I'm Coleman O'Brien. The issues with healthcare have been a progressing problem for many years. The problems include affordability, corruption, accessibility, and many more. The main problem today is affordability. Over almost a decade, the cost of healthcare has risen disproportionately relative to the increase in the cost of other goods and services. We have collected data supporting the fact that hospitals have increased prices and data showing how government assistance could help those with financial difficulties. One of the first things we would like to bring up today is this graph demonstrating the percent increase in healthcare compared to a GDP deflator. The reason we have compared these two lines is because the GDP deflator shows the change in cost of common services. This allows us to see how healthcare has increased over time relative to the increase in cost of goods and services. Here on this graph, you can see blue is labeled as your healthcare price and green is your GDP deflator, and this is the time, and this is the percent increase. As we can see here in this graph, the price of healthcare has increased much faster than the cost of common services. Because of this disproportionate increase between the two, the lower end of the middle class and the lower class will end up struggling to afford healthcare at the end of the day. Next, we are going to bring in our expert, Cole Bryan. Hi, I'm Cole Bryan, and I'm an expert in the healthcare industry.
How has malpractice affected healthcare cost?
Over the years, within private hospitals, there has been an increase in malpractice, which is the improper, illegal, or negligent professional activity or treatment, especially by a medical practitioner, lawyer, or public official. This includes doctors ordering MRIs, colonoscopies, CAT scans, and many other tests to determine diseases. This is a significant factor that has led to large increase, as mentioned by Coleman O'Brien. Privatized hospitals are causing extreme financial loss to many people, and it especially hurts those who can't afford it. With the government being able to help cover a portion of the cost, that service would be much more viable and affordable to the person who can't afford it.
How will a government aid program affect our taxes?
Some people may say that having government include additional programs will drastically increase taxes. This is true to an extent. At the highest, taxes would only go up about 4 to 5%. By doing this, the middle class would end up paying slightly more in taxes, but they would end up paying significantly less than before for their healthcare services. The upper 5 to 1% of the population would end up being slightly hurt by the tax because they often go to privatized healthcare. But in the end, it would help more people than those being hurt by this plan.
Are there any hospitals that already offer aid programs like this?
Yes, there are a couple. Hospitals like Parkland and Dallas are prime examples of hospitals where a form of government provides financial aid to people who cannot afford necessary procedures. Almost 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, meaning at the end of the month, they have almost nothing left for saving or investing. If we include more healthcare government programs like Parkland's, there would be a significant number of people who don't have to go through the stress of not being able to afford basic necessities.
How will government assistance help people?
If the government were to assist people in healthcare with financial aid, there would be a significant increase in benefit to those who struggle to afford healthcare. Including a plan that allows the government to assist people with financial instability would immediately help to provide the 11% of Americans with no health insurance. 11% may seem small, but this is the only initial gain by this plan. Since we know that 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, we can assume that over time, within a few years, a large portion of that 63% will have ended up receiving benefits, and the rest will soon receive them later. For multiple years, the healthcare industry has increased their prices. They have risen faster than any other service, putting more and more people into debt with no way to pay. Doctors and privatized hospitals exploit their patients for personal financial gain. If we had the government intervening and providing extra financial programs to provide aid to a large group of people who cannot afford healthcare, then so many problems would be eliminated. Over 50% of Americans cannot afford the bills that come after the service. We need the government to help pay certain people's medical bills, even if that means we have to raise taxes. Thank you for speaking, Cole Bryan. Healthcare has been a problem for many years. Now it is time for us to change it for the better. Do you want to grow up and eventually need a life-saving surgery but not be able to afford it? This will be the result if we continue privatizing healthcare and leaving nothing to help those who are unable to afford it.